Dictator for life, Xi Jinping's power grab condemned as a step towards tyranny. It would appear that the president of China is making a move to turn China back into a communist nation. Quick, somebody get Sean Penn in for a photo op. Let's have a look a little bit deeper into the president's past, and then we can sort of divine what our future will be. Let's have a look. The first 5 years of Xi's reign, which began after he was named the Communist Party's General Secretary in late 2012. Now, just a quick little insert here. I think they were still murdering Christians back then. Have been what many call the worst political crackdown in decades. Activists, dissidents, and intellectuals greeted Sunday's move with trepidation. Now look, the Chinese money, it affects the cryptocurrency market to a huge degree. We all saw what happened in September when China cracked down on cryptocurrency participants, and all that money left the market. It totally pulled it out. Now we have the current president and noted communist, right? The guy in charge, saying that they want to pull the term limits for the presidency. 2 terms is what a president has and a vice president has in China. Now they're saying, well, let's just get rid of that. Well, that's exactly what Chairman Mao did, right? And what does communism always bring? Why does it always bring? Communism and socialism, what does it always bring? Well, we have people dying of starvation, and we have crop failure. We have absolutely no ingenuity. China hasn't produced anything of their own since the abacus, right? China steals everything from the United States. They have not had their own technological revolution. They've stolen everything from us. You guys remember just several months ago, China opened up a whole bunch of Apple stores, the ones that you and I go to. And, when we go and we talk to the genius and we get our computers fixed or we buy new products or whatever. Well, China did the same thing. And then Apple came out and said, well, wait a minute, we didn't authorize that. You can't just open up a store. And so they sued those people. And guess what China said? This ain't America, homie. You want to sue somebody, why don't you go on back to America? This is China here. You can't sue us here. So they just stole that name and they stole that technology. There is nothing that China has that they did not either steal from the United States or buy from Bill Clinton, right? There's a school in Salzburg, Austria, where children from all over the world go and they learn to play stringed instruments and it's the Mozart school. And guess what they say about the Chinese kids? They say they play perfectly. And you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a high compliment. Well, you would think so, wouldn't it? But they're not saying it in a complimentary way. They're saying they play it perfectly. They play it without any soul of their own. They don't make their own mistakes. They just play it by the numbers. They don't have it within them to let their creativity come out. So they just play it. It's like a paint by numbers thing to them, right? They play it perfectly. And this is who China is. They are not an industrious people. They are not a free people. And now we see China moving back towards communism, where really the ultimate goal of communism and socialism is let's just kill all the Christians, right? That's ultimately what they want, and that's what they had up until just recently. These are bad things for China, and it's bad for the world. But here's where it does kind of get awesome. You see, nobody owes more money to China than the United States. As a matter of fact, nobody owns more US dollars than China does. That's right. China has more paper that belongs to the United States than the United States does. They have more of our own paper. Now, if they do decide to go communists, naturally they'll probably call in all of their debts, right? Call up the United States and say, hey, you owe us a bunch of money. And guess what the United States will then be in position to do? Sorry, homie, this ain't China. This here's America. You want some of this money, you got to come over here, brother. That's how that thing goes. That's how it goes. So, bad side, whole bunch of people, including a bunch of Christians, are going to die. Good side is America's going to get a pass completely out of owing China a whole bunch of money. So that's a little bit of bitter, a little bit of sweet. Now, what else can we expect? We can expect that China will do what communists always do, and that's infringe on the freedoms of all of their people. So that means no more Chinese money coming into the cryptocurrency market if this goes through, right? Communists aren't known for their encouragement of free-thinking people to go about and try to better their own situation in life. Quite the opposite. Communists and socialists always want everybody to be poor, but equal. They want everybody to be equally poor. So if one person is starving, then obviously the solution is let's make everybody starve. That's what's coming in China's futures. Now, of course, not for this fat bastard. Look at that mug on him. Oh, he hasn't missed a meal in a long time. And this is what communist and socialist leaders are always like. They're the rich ones. They're the special little snowflake that gets to live in their communist utopia, but of course gets to eat whenever they want and live in a palace and drive around in fancy cars and drink Cavassier, right? That's who these people are. So bad news on the front of cryptocurrency markets, because if this guy gets his way, that Chinese money's never coming back in, right? Also, we're probably going to be seeing the next 20, 30 years of watching Chinese people try to escape China and defect, get out of there, because the situation is so horrendous that people have no other choice but try to escape. Of course they can't, because let's face it, China is smack in the middle of two nations who want nothing to do with them, and one ocean on one side that's guarded by Japan, who hates them, and the other side is the Middle East, who also are not particularly fond of the godless communist types. So this is going to be very interesting indeed, as it is that we have all been anticipating and waiting for that Chinese money to come back into the market. And if this guy has his way, none of us will be seeing any of that. That's it for now. Talk to you next time.